Committee to order. Tuesday, October the 10th, 2017, in room 1060 here at City Hall. I'm joined by my colleague, the Honorable Joe Busciano. Joe B.
Good afternoon,
As he's
Chair.
expecting now. Mr. Clerk, why don't you please call the roll?
Councilmember Price,
Here.
Councilmember Busciano,
Here.
and Councilmember Weezar.
He's excused.
Very good.
The two of us will carry on. We've got four items for the committee. Do we have any cards?
Cards have been submitted, Mr. Chair.
All right, we've got a few. All right, we've got some comments here. We have Abraham. Come on up, Abraham. Followed by, it's like Maria. This is general public comment. And Mika? Angelica. Please. Yes, please join us.
I'll be translating.
Okay, that'd be fine.
Good afternoon, everyone. Just want to begin by thanking the council members for, really considering what the campaign has been doing for over almost 10 years, right? A lot of the organizers and vendors with the LA Street Vendor campaign have been, organizing, working alongside council members to create solutions for street vending and give the city a regulatory program that makes sense. So I just want to really begin today by thanking all your efforts on decriminalizing street vending. Because I think those are two different issues, right? Decriminalizing and legalization are two different things, and I think a lot of council members have seen that, and that's great. And we really want to thank you for the efforts you've made, because for vendors, right, working, they're making a living, and the fact they're seeing these efforts to decriminalize street vending, it's been really helpful for them, and it makes them have hope that they could earn a living for their families without having to worry about being in a deportations proceedings because they have a misdemeanor for street vending. So I just really wanted to begin by saying thank you from our behalf. And I know they also wanted to comment and be appreciative as to what's been happening with that, and also comment on decriminalizing and what they think that should look like.
Buenas tardes.
Good afternoon.
Mi nombre es Angélica María Herrera.
My name is Angélica Herrera.
Estoy acá por agradecerles por el paso que han dado para poder nosotros que puedan descriminalizar el 873 también de los parques.
I want to thank you for initiating to decriminalize the 8073 and the parks vending code as well. We want to thank you for initiating that.
Porque somos perseguidos por la policía y nos dan ticket. En febrero nos sentimos más tranquilos, pero sigue siempre igual dándonos tickets, nos corren. A mí me han llegado hasta esposar cuando me dieron un ticket en Hollywood.
Since February, we saw some improvement, but then we saw a wave of enforcement through the 8073 tickets. So we appreciate you folks considering that, because they've where she vends, she's been chased, run after for vending under the 8073 code.
Y nosotros solo queremos pues trabajar honradamente para nuestras familias.
We want to work honorably and provide for our families.
Estamos agradecidos. Queremos, por favor, si nos pueden ayudar para legalizar.
And we're asking you to help us legalize permits because we need to work. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Gracias.
Buenas tardes, mi nombre es María Medrano.
Good afternoon, my name is María Medrano.
Estamos aquí porque somos muy descriminalizados por la policía.
We're criminalized by officers,
nos
security officers.
acosan, nos
They harass
corren,
us, they chase us.
y le damos las gracias por apoyarnos
We
a
thank the
todos los
council members
vendedores.
for your support for
Pues
street
nosotros
vendors.
yo vendo en diferentes lugares.
I've been in different places.
Y sí, hay mucha discriminación para
There's a lot of
nosotros.
discrimination for vendors,
Y les damos las gracias por apoyarnos
and we want to thank you for
para
supporting us
tener un permiso para poder ser libres.
and working towards a permit so
Trabajar
we could be
sin,
free
sin estar pendiente
without
de que nos
worrying
van a
about,
correr.
that someone chasing us.
Y
when it's
por
us away.
todo les damos nos dan el apoyo que ustedes nos dan a nosotros.
So I thank you for all the support you've
Gracias
given us.
por estar con nosotros.
Thank you. Thank you both
Thank you so much.
for your comments. Thank all three of you for your comments. You should certainly know that you have two supporters of vending here. In fact, the framework that Councilman Busciano and I have submitted, we think is going to be a real model for legalizing vending in our community. And we hope to have it before this committee within the next several weeks.
Gracias.
Gracias.
Okay, I've got Ruby Rodriguez, Cynthia Perich, and Michael Terran. Please come forward. Who would like to begin? You may begin.
Hi, my name is Ruby Rodriguez, and I live in South LA. Every day as I begin another adventure in my busy life, I consider what the future of Los Angeles will be like. What will it be like trying to get a job? What will the cost of gas be? Will it be hard to try and make a living and to make ends meet in this city? Will someone like me still be able to make it? These are all the questions that come to mind when I look at the city skyline and wonder. Very few people carry the same sort of power like the men and women in LA City Hall do, and very rarely is it that the future of so many depend on a decision of so few. Yet somehow the small commission has inherited the future of my city. The types of sacrifices my children and their children will have to make in order to survive in LA may depend on how this vote turns out. I could read statistics and numbers and quotes to support my case, but I think this vote on the oil and gas drilling setback is much easier than all that. Do you care about California? Do you care about LA? How about the people trying their best to live a decent life here? If you do, then it's not hard to see which vote helps us and which hurts us. Vote no on the setback, please. Thank you.
Thank you.
Domestic production renewables. U.S. Congressman Ron Lewis was once quoted as saying, by encouraging conversation, increasing investments in clean renewables sources of energy, and promoting increased domestic production of oil and gas, we can build a more secure future for our country. There's no reason why California, led by the city of Los Angeles and its lawmaking bodies such as the Plum Commission, can't both protect domestic oil and gas production, as well as explore the opportunities represented by renewable energy sources. Approving a 25-foot setback is approving a shutdown of the oil and gas industry. Doing that at this point in our journey to establish renewables as our primary source of energy production would be like trying to build a house during a hurricane. When a logical person considers the amounts of foregone profit our own economic can do, and really look at Saudi Arabia, we just want to say, just vote no. Vote no on the setback.
Thank you.
The oil and gas industry in California is huge and one of the heaviest areas of concentration for production, storage, and sales is right here in Los Angeles County. Over 100,000 people are employed in the industry directly in the county, and tens of millions of us in LA depend on gas being available at an affordable price every day to get us from point A to point B. The federal, state, and city government depend on a tax revenue from the production and consumption of our oil and gas in California to fund the public schools, hospitals, police, fire stations, and military bases. Not to mention to keep up our roads, sewers, and electric grids. Although it may be a little difficult to imagine the ripple effect from a decision by the Plum Commission to approve a 2,500-foot setback. With so many people's lives and livelihoods at stake, our Constitution asks that you vote no on the setback and vote yes for the economy.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments. Okay, we have additional general comments from Puppet. Looks like also items 1, 2, 3, and 4, so you'll have a total of 3 minutes.
Very good. So we'll start off with legalizing all street vending. Yes, a very good idea. Nothing better than allowing, pimps, drug dealers, for example, to sell their wares with the protections against possible ICE enforcement. Yeah, see, my friend here has a number of clients who are facing deportation.
Stay on the topic, please. Which item
Well,
is it?
Yeah, well, he's explaining this.
yes, and so we need to have protections for drug possession charges of all kinds in Los Angeles because many of our people are being housed in ICE jails because you allowed the LAPD to arrest them and Mr. Fuhrer, that cocksucker, to prosecute them for crimes upon which, well, they're innocent because everybody in LA sells drugs. Yes, you see, that's the thing. Everybody's a drug dealer. The prescription people, the doctors, they sell the medications. You know, Michael Jackson.
Which item are you on, sir?
Well, I'm on street vending. So we want to have all street vending legalized.
Street vending, is that on the agenda?
But they were talking about it. Yes, well, they were talking in Spanish and English. Okay, very good. We'll talk in Spanish. Este consejo tiene muchos putos que tiene estas sillas. En este consejo, ellos tienen muchos arrestados de policía, de personas inmigrantes que fueron inocentes de los crímenes de drogas. Yes. Todos los drogas pueden legal en Ciudad de Los Ángeles porque todas personas ganan mucho dinero para usar y vender las drogas. Todo venden legalmente es mejor. No más de policía, de mafia policía y Charlie Beck tiene los bribes. No más. No necesita más de los policías y Mike Fuhrer. Todo está este día afuera legalmente la venta de las drogas. ¡Yay! Y también tiene muchos de luces en el consejero de Nuri Martinez. Oh, yes, he's not the city clerk, yes. Oh, I'm sorry, en español no es el consejo de los clérigos. So todo en este Nuri Martinez, por ejemplo, Nuri Martinez es un vendedor de drogas y quiere también la grandísima pimp de mujeres en todo el mundo. Muchas gracias, putos. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Herman. Got 3 minutes. General comment and 4 items.
Well, since we're talking about the administrative units of Department of General Service, other word referred to as ad hoc job creation committee, the only real jobs you've created is called Measure 64, enforcement of selling more drugs. Every day I drive off that Imperial Wilmington station at the Rosa Parks, and dumb motherfuckers have a weed shop right there. And that eyesore, stupid motherfucking bitch that puts that store there, I don't get what kind of common sense of comprehensive fucking job that is. Other than you're fucking up the African-American community and creating a drug lord job committee there. And that is something I see here you don't have no community impact submitted on. Think about it, bro. Think about it, you silver-tongued fool. Then I go to item number 3, because I work backwards, like Jose Weezer. $2 million bond process for the Adelante Eastside redevelopment. Well, there is no fucking projects for redevelopment. Don't you see? You got all these motherfuckers living in the streets with their fucked up tents. That's off of 6th Street, Park, Arts, River, and connectivity improvements. Fuck you. Then I go to item number 1. Report relative ability to use Assistant Chief Grants Administrator position for economic development. Well, there is no economic development. Minimum wage doesn't provide an economic wage of fair housing. I ain't gonna work 3 motherfucking jobs just so I can live in a motherfucking house when I can live in a fucking tent for free and collect all the bullshit you dumb niggas get for free. Now, general public comment. when white niggas don't accept a public comment card because I stick a sticker on a public comment card, that is still free speech. Stop denying free speech. My public comment card is free speech. So if I stick a sticker, if I stick my condom on it, my point is, tell Jose Weezer stop fucking women in City Hall and paying pre-settlement out of court. This way, the public, you hardworking pension people in here, don't get fucked by this system that's corrupted, abusive, and intolerable as far as I'm concerned. Now, my closing statement, when I go talk to Ms. Janice Hahn today, I'm going to tell the bitch, you worked in council. Why do we have niggas selling drugs to the African-American community off of Wilmington and Imperial? That fucking green shop right there sells kilos of niggas, all kinds of drugs. That's fucked up.
John Walsh, general comment, and items 2, 3, and 4. 3 minutes.
John Walsh, blogging at HollywoodHighlands.org. No F words come from John Walsh's mouth. No F words. Okay, as far as this committee is concerned, it's the Economic Development Committee, and nobody on this committee is evil. So that's the best I can say about this committee. And but as far as the agenda items are, I'm going to speak about summer youth program, $2.3 million. We'll see where that money goes. General city support, summer youth, 17 and 18. 2018 is way, way in the future. Okay, number 3, Adelante East Side Redevelopment Project. I got up and spoke against redevelopment projects in Berkeley in 1971. And I said, I'm going to live to dance on your grave. And they all laughed at me. And there was a black homeowner up there who had been crushed. He'd been absolutely crushed. He was surrounded by industrial. And I said, unfortunately, he died before we got rid of CRA. But in any case, his children lived to spit and defecate on the CRA. It doesn't exist anymore. We destroyed the redevelopment projects throughout the entire entire LA and California. That's why we're always nice to Jerry Brown, because he destroyed the CRA. And general services, relative centralized procurement unit within the Department of General Services. What that means, God only knows what that means. But in fact, all it means is spend money, spend money, spend money. So I'm going to give you a present of the 44 seconds.
Thank you.
I don't need to jerk off for the extra 44.
Okay. I'll close the general public comment. Mr. Clerk, what is the first item?
Item number 1, Economic and Workforce Development Department report relative to the EWDD's ability to use the Assistant Chief Grants Administrator position in the citywide economic development team to leverage grants.
All right. Do we have anyone from, I see we do. EWDD is in the house. Identify yourself.
Good afternoon. My name is.
Proceed.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chair, committee member. My name is Daisy Hernandez. I'm with the Economic and Workforce Development Department for the city. And EWDD was asked to report back to this committee on the ability for the new Chief Grants Administrator position to be used to leverage grant funds. So I'm here to report on behalf of EWDD that this position was actually created and designed so the city could to form and manage the business advancement team. And this is to assist businesses in the city to retain and attract businesses, and not necessarily for fund development or grant writing. We actually have within our unit, we have a position, we have a unit that's fund development, and we have a person that's dedicated to seek grants and submit applications. So we already have that position available.
So this position has not been filled, the Assistant Chief Grants Administrator.
It hasn't been filled yet. It was recently approved, and we're working with Human Resources to fill the position now.
Well, with the addition of these positions, is the department going to have the capacity to pursue grant opportunities as well as to administer and manage them?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And we do have, again, the revenue development unit, and that's their function, to look for grants and funding opportunities.
And so what's the status of the business assistance program? Business assistance
With the business,
program?
yes. So we have, we're in the process of forming the unit. We have hired a management assistant has been handling the rapid response for businesses. This is the assistance that businesses need for navigating through the city system and through all the channels that they need in order to establish a business or to expand their businesses. We have hired a senior project coordinator who is working on the development of the Jedi Zone and also for Korea. And now, we're hopeful to have the assistant chief on board soon, and then we can, fully develop the team and start implementing all the programs.
Councilman, any questions?
Yeah, if I can. Walk me through the timeline. By the time you post the job opportunity, interview, and then the job offer, what are you looking at as far as time?
I believe that as we worked out the timeline, we're looking at probably in December and to have someone on board by January. So we are scheduling interviews now. I believe the interviews are being scheduled for later this month.
And how is this position different than a position in the existing mayor's business team? Does the mayor have a business team?
I believe yes, he does, and I don't know exactly what the difference is, but I can certainly come back and provide you that information.
I'm just excited the fact that this position, from what you reported, will focus on Jedi zones.
Yes.
Great, because I knew one is in my district. So. Thank you. Move approval.
Would you like me to come back and give you information on the difference in the positions?
Yes,
or?
that would be helpful.
Okay.
You can plan on doing that. That's fine. Any other questions at this time? Okay, then we're going to receive with a note and file the report. And without objection, I'll be the owner. You're going to come back to us with an update.
Sure.
In terms of the status of that position.
Yes, great. Thank you.
All right. Item 2, Mr. Clerk.
Item 2, EWDD report relative to the expenditure of $2.3 million in general city purposes funds to support the fiscal year 2017-18 Summer Youth Employment Program.
Okay, anybody, not just anybody, but a special body is here.
Good afternoon. My name is Brenda Anderson, and I'm the Assistant Chief Grants Administrator in Economic and Workforce Development Department, and I head up the Youth Source System. So, I was asked to step in on behalf of Robert Sines to speak to you all about the report in reference to the expenditure increase on the general fund to $2.3 million. The reason for that request is that each year as the minimum wage goes up, our goal in terms of meeting the mayor's expectation to reach 20,020 kids by the year 2020 means that we have to respond to that increase. So this year we found ourselves really pushing the envelope because the minimum wage went up to $12. The goal for the mayor is $15,500, but that did not take into consideration of us trying to meet that goal in terms of the $2 million that was given to us this year. So we're asking that 2.3 be given to us next year in the fiscal year 2018-2019 to help us meet the goal of responding to the need to employ. It will be over 15,500. Next year will be up to 16,000. And we need those funds to be able to place the kids and give them that first experience and that first exposure to their first job.
in addition to age, what other criteria is used when we're selecting these young folks?
We look at family income, their location in terms of the areas that are more underserved or underrepresented, to try to make sure that we do give those youth an opportunity to experience their first job opportunity. The goal is to help improve their soft skills and to also prepare them for what the future might lay ahead of them. So we look at foster, we look at homeless, we look at probation, we look at the disconnected youth. Those are our first concentration. We do have other youth that don't meet those qualifications, and we do want to be fair in terms of our exposure to young people, so we do have some that do not fall into those categories.
Could you outline some of the recruiting efforts that you make to bring young folks in, how you inform them of these opportunities, how they are recruited?
Yes, we are in the process of updating our outreach process. Currently, we have a website called higherlayouth.com or .org. It doesn't matter which search engine you use. And on that website, the young person has an opportunity to register. They need to be between the ages of 14 and 24. We do ask them various questions in terms of where their interests might be. We do identify what council district that they live in. We do ask them questions about the school that they attend, because we do have a relationship with LAUSD as well as the county. So that is our initial way to engage the young people. We use that list as a lottery to draw the name so that there is no preference or favoritism in any way towards the young person. It is truly impartial. It is a random selection, and then from that list is what is sent out to our youth agencies, and then they are the ones that actually engage the young people.
You actually asked a couple of the questions that I had. Do we have updated numbers from this last 16-17 cycle?
Yes, as of October the 5th, and our numbers are still coming in, we are up to 10,769. We still have numbers coming in under our Higher LA Youth, which is from January 1 to December 31st. So we still have young people that are working and are being placed. In the summertime, it goes from July 1st until September 30th. But the summer youth employment is a subset under that. But we have kids actually working from the beginning to the end. So our numbers are constantly coming in. Last year, when we submitted our report to the mayor's office in December, we actually exceeded his goal, which was 15,000. And we exceeded it. We have 15,070. And we're very confident that we will exceed it this year. The young people are there. They want to work. They want the experience. But when we are subsidizing, if we don't have enough funds from our private donors or some of our other partners, such as the county, we use these general funds to make that gap and to help give those kids an opportunity.
Appreciate the work that you're doing. I remember through my teen program with LAPD, we really able to push it on these youth to the higher LA youth. Do they also do the prep work on how to fill out an application, the
Yes.
resume, the training on how to interview? That's still part of the program?
Yes, it is. All of our agencies, what we call job ready for our young people. So we work on their soft skills. We help them to develop their resume. We do job interviewing, role playing. And the ideal is to make sure that they're prepared when they meet with the employer. We also do site visits. We go out and we meet with the employer. We meet with the young person. We find out, are they happy? Are they learning? Are they enjoying their experience? We also encourage the employers to talk to them. What does it mean to be in the working world? What does it mean if you want to be an entrepreneur? What are the things you have to do? So the ideal is to really give them a well-rounded exposure to their first
job. Who would you say would be the top 5 employers that really embrace higher LA youth?
Not from a funding standpoint, but as an employer, the LA Chamber does a lot of work with us in that they are engaging their partners, their business partners, to hire these kids in the summer. this year, and I was really excited about it. We had done it in the past, and then it had stopped, and they started back again, Public Works. So their sanitation, Bureau of Street Services. I must say this year, the city of LA stepped up big time. A lot of the city departments stepped up to help. DWP, the Port of Los Angeles, all of them have stepped up to help us in hiring and employing these youth.
Yeah, when the chamber was here during this last couple weeks ago, I stood and I actually thanked them for their advocacy and support and working with our corporate partners to
Yes.
hire our youth.
Yeah. Also, we've had on the private sector, Bank of America, and cities, the corporation. We work with Cities for Financial Education. So those have been really two large private sponsors that have really stepped up.
Thank you so much.
Well, we know how important summer employment, especially summer employment, is the employment for our youth generally, and especially during summer. And so we appreciate the leadership the mayor's taken in surpassing his goal.
Yes.
But we know we need to do more, and so this effort from EWDD is very important, especially targeting, the population of youth frequently that are left out and who don't have an opportunity to take advantage of these work experiences.
This summer, we actually did a trial with our kids that have special needs. We actually partnered with an organization that worked with kids that were, I can't think of the word now, autistic. And we actually employed 12 of them. And they did really good work. It was the first experience of getting a paycheck. We also engaged them on financial literacy. They had an opportunity to engage with employers. And so it was a good experience, and we will be revisiting that and expanding it next year.
I was introduced to a similar program at Kaiser in Harbor City, and a couple of the kids are working at Staples Center who have disabilities, and it was part of.
Yeah,
AECOM
has stepped up to employ some of the kids and everything. So we are trying to reach out to the broadest array of our kids to give them all an experience.
Good job. Keep up the good work. And Councilman, if there is any further, we will receive and file.
Thank you.
Thank you for the report. Item 3.
Item number 3, motion, Weezer, Harris Dawson, relative to utilizing up to $2 million in excess bond proceeds from the Adelante East Side redevelopment project area to supplement the existing construction budget for the 6th Street Park, Arts River, and Connectivity Improvements Project and related matters.
Okay, anyone from the CLA on this item?
Good afternoon, Chair. This is Oscar Ishka with the Office of the Chief Legislative Analyst. Before you is the initial motion to allocate CRA excess bond proceeds towards this project. This is a sort of the supplemental project to the 6th Street Viaduct Replacement Project, where they're establishing the 6th Street Park Arts, River, and Connectivity Improvements Project that is to include a number of elements below the bridge to be constructed. The council office wishes to allocate some of their excess bond proceeds towards this project, so this is the initial motion to begin that process. Once this motion is adopted, the Economic and Workforce Development Department will be instructed to prepare a formal report with recommendations that'll circle its way back to committee and council. The first stop would be the Bond Oversight Committee, but that would be after it's formally adopted.
Okay. Thank you. Any questions? Okay, we will move this matter forward without objection. That will be the order. Next item, last item.
Item 4, Joint City Administrative Officer, Chief Legislative Analyst Report relative to implementing a centralized procurement unit within the Department of General Services. This matter has also been referred to the Ad Hoc Committee on Comprehensive Job Creation Plan.
Okay, centralized procurement, something that it's been a topic of many discussions in terms of improving and expanding the city's contracting, especially with small, medium-sized, minority, special businesses. And so I think we all are anxiously awaiting the recommendations and next steps.
Good afternoon, Steve Liu with the Office of the Chief Legislative Analyst. And I'm joined by my colleagues here in the Mayor's Office and GSD and the CIO's office. Just to provide an overview of our report, when we released it back in April, was in response to an instruction from the jobs plan in order to help streamline the contract process in the city. And as part of that, one of the duties that we had was to analyze whether or not a centralized procurement unit was a viable option for the city in terms of doing it. Since then, this matter has gone through the city's budget process, and through the city's budget process this year, we have already, the city and the council has already approved 9 months of funding for one position in the Department of General Services and 2 positions without funding in the Department of General Services as well. My colleagues here from the Mayor's Office and the Department of General Services can provide an update on where we are with that process, but if the committee members would like an overview of the report, I am here to do that as well.
Good afternoon, Chair. Shamel Graham with the Mayor's Office, Director of the Operations Innovation Team, and it was our team and the work we've been doing in partnership with all the city stakeholders and made the recommendation that the city needed to create a new executive level position of a Chief Procurement Officer. As you know, excuse me, procurement of commodities is centralized within GSD. However, professional services within the city is very decentralized, and each independent department administers and facilitates their own procurement. And we identified a number of challenges with having a decentralized process. Thus, our recommendation for a Chief Procurement Officer to work with the Mayor's Office and Council on larger policy goals, operational efficiency, savings, and streamlining the process and ensuring that the process is transparent and fair for businesses of all sizes to compete for city contracting opportunities. We are moving forward with the hiring process, and so there will probably be additional requests in the FY 18-19 budget to continue further investment in this initiative.
So what deadlines or what milestones are we setting for the creation of the office?
The hiring is the first thing. So we're going through the selection process right now and should have be able to make an announcement on who's been selected as a Chief Procurement Officer in the next 30 to 60 days.
And how about the other 2 authorized positions?
The authorized positions are unfunded at this time, and we expect once the Chief Procurement Officer is on board, along with the recommendations and analysis and engaging stakeholders, they'll be able to better assess when they need to bring on those additional support staff.
And have you gotten any further feedback or input from the business community, small business community, especially as we're moving forward on this?
Yes, we stay engaged with our external and internal stakeholders throughout this process.
And what's their response been?
They're very happy that there will be additional emphasis put on procurement of professional services within the city to make the experience more consistent for all competitors, and again, like I said, for businesses of all sizes to compete.
And so for professional services, we're going to bring everything in then under this office, or will departments still be able to kind of
Departments will still be able to facilitate and administer their own procurement. The Chief Procurement Officer will now be able to there's always a lot of discussion around policies and inconsistency around procedures, and so they'll lay out a larger strategic plan of what that should look like, but be able to support departments. We've met with a lot of general managers, mid-level managers that have challenges with procurements and would like to have somebody with subject matter expertise to support them and facilitate also new and innovative ways to procure items and to pilot new services before engaging in larger contracts. So it's an opportunity for the city too to be more efficient with the dollars it spends.
But in the short term, that authority is not going to be taken away from the departments. They can still
Absolutely not.
do their own procurement.
Correct.
And so this will be more of a coordinating function until
further recommendations, right?
Yeah. Okay. Councilman, any?
Well, thank you, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to see this move forward because our existing process stinks, clearly, and it's such a pain to get things done as it relates to getting these services and needed with the GSD. So really applaud your efforts, leadership moving forward on streamlining the process so we can get to yes and not delay any further. Just want to indicate that the report states at the move was a logical fit because GSD is already the city's purchasing agent, but what exactly would change if we centralize procurement within GSD?
So right now, the unit that's being launched with the Chief Procurement Officer is to look at a further strategic plan of what that would look like. So there, again, we're looking at a senior level executive with extensive procurement experience, and they'll be able to lay out what a longer strategic plan would look like with the city and in collaboration with the department.
And then in regards to streamlining the process overall, what else are you all focusing on?
Technology infrastructure investments. So with the launch of FMS 2.0, automating the procurement process, it's a very paper-driven and heavy process, which doesn't allow for data and metrics to drive decisions and for businesses of all sizes to compete, and it lacks transparency because it's paper-driven. So technology infrastructure investment was made in FY 17-18 of $1.6 million through ITA for procurement reform, and so that's just continuing on. There'll be the second phase of request funding in FY 18-19 budget process.
Is that going to impact the BAVIN?
That's part of BAVIN as well.
Is that
That's part of the technology infrastructure process, but it also includes the payments. So the new financial management system that was just launched in this new fiscal year is looking at a procure-to-pay system overall. BAVIN is just one mechanism within what we call the technology infrastructure.
And then you mentioned earlier, Chairman asked about the two positions.
Right. Those two positions were unfunded in this budget process, and once the Chief Procurement Officer is on board, then we'll be able to look at where there may be funding opportunities and when they can bring those.
So to expedite this, can we look at our existing workforce in the unit?
We've explored all those options, but for the new direction that we're looking at for procurement, we're looking at all options at this point.
Okay.
But again, you need that person with the leadership and expertise to identify the people that will work on their team.
Classify an existing employee to get this thing moving.
We're moving pretty aggressively already. So.
I'm good. Thank you, Mr.
Okay,
Chair.
without objection, we'll note and file this report. Thank you for your efforts. We look forward to the update.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's move forward. Thank you.
Any other business before us at this time?
No other business, Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned.